George, in your life, you faced racial prejudice. One time in particular, I believe it was a game at Villanova. Why don't you tell us about that story?
Oh, it was a game where Villanova played Wake Forest down in either Winston-Salem or it was Winston-Salem. I started to say Greensboro, but the game was in Winston-Salem. At the time we were nationally ranked in the top 10, and we go down, and actually on that Wake Forest team was Billy Packer, the famous announcer. And we didn't have the type of sophisticated media we had today. There wasn't television. The newspapers weren't all as encompassing as they are today. So as a result, they were unaware that we had black players on the team in that. And so we take the train down to play Wake Forest. Wake Forest got a great team. They're ranked. We're ranked. And so we get down there and we get off the train and get our bags and we go over to the hotel. And I'll never forget, the hotel is called the Robert E. Lee. And so we go in.
That was it, right?
Yeah. And we go in and my coach gets the room keys and he gets us around a circle and he's passing out the room keys, and the other black player on the team was Kenny Harrison. And so what happened is that they give us the keys, and so Kenny and I are rooming together. And so we go to get on the elevator. Well, back in those days, you didn't have automatic elevators. There was an elevator operator. And so we go to get on the elevator, and the guy operating the elevator is white. And so we pick up our bags and we get on, and he's standing there looking at us. And so he says, "Where are you niggers going?" And so we didn't say anything. We just kept our mouths shut. And so then he got louder. And so a couple of the other guys in the team said, "Hey man, what?" And so he wouldn't move the elevator, and he just wouldn't move the elevator. And he finally picked up our bags and threw them out into the lobby.
But the hotel did give you a room.
No. So you're getting ahead. You're pushing me ahead of the story.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So what happens is, now there's this big confrontation. Even the guy at the desk, he didn't know that we're going to be two blacks because he gave our coach all the keys. So finally they figured that the guy running the elevator tells the guy that they got two niggers on the team in that. And so, I mean, they said niggers then just like you say Jack and George.
Yeah, right.
And so now there's a huge confrontation, and so our coach is upset. He goes to find out what time's the next train going back to Philadelphia, and it's not until the next day and so forth. And so a couple things happened to move it forward. Number one, Kenny remembered that he had a really good friend over at Winston-Salem College, Cleo Hill, who he knew from Newark, and he was the star player for them. Big House Gaines was coaching the team. So
at Winston-Salem State.
Yeah, Winston-Salem State. So the players took a vote, and the vote was, we're not going to play the game. We'll just go back tomorrow. And we'll move on. But Kenny and I got together and we said, look, we came this far. It doesn't make sense to go back, and we're not going to refight the Civil War. One of the remarks I always remember my coach making was, he said, civilization stops at the Mason-Dixon line. And so anyway, we Big House Gaines comes over and gets us, him and Cleo. They take us over and they give us a place to stay over in Winston-Salem State. At that time, I think it was called State Teachers College, and it was an all-black school. So we stayed over there. We played the game the next day. Unfortunately, Wake beat us in a very close game. And
you guys did play in the game?
Yeah, we did play in the game and that. And so we got lots of racial taunts and that, but so that was the first time that I had ever really been confronted with smack in your face racism, nigger, taunts. You're not welcome. One of the things I always remember that the elevator operator said to one of our players when he said, "Why aren't they good enough to stay here?" And the elevator operator's response was that if we let these niggers stay here, no self-respecting white person would ever stay in this hotel again. So what was interesting was that the ultimate comment was that we could eat our meals there with the team in a private dining room, but we couldn't stay there. And so that was something that when you start to go back through your memory bank, there's always some things that you're going to keep on deposit in your memory bank for the rest of your life, and that's one of them.